All right, so assuming that you've toured a home that you love and you want to consider making an offer on, these are a couple steps that you want to expect you might undertake in doing so. So the first is when you're making an offer, you want to make sure you are fully prepared for it. So really one or two big pieces of that are ensuring that you've got a pre-approval. If you're going to be using a mortgage to buy, or what's known as a proof of funds, which is generally a bank statement or a brokerage statement showing the funds are there with your account numbers redacted from that sheet. And so that's going to be important for you to have and to provide to your agent. Number two, you're going to want to think about the pricing that you want to offer on this home. And so pricing is a really important piece of any offer, and that's because a seller is going to want to base a lot of their decision making off of what offer you price them, what price you offer them. And so what we offer at Nuhom is a pricing analysis. You can go to our website, you can type in an address, and what we do is we run a comparables analysis, and we give you a recommendation on what we think the pricing should be based on what's happening in the market, the supply demand, what other homes have sold for and their conditions relative to the home you're trying to buy. And so this is a really important piece, kind of sets the precedence for where you want to end up. And this may surprise you at times. Asking prices are often artificially low, especially right now, because people want sort of a bidding war to happen. And so having an agent provide you a pricing analysis to tell you where this could end up could be very valuable to your process and your journey. Number three, you'll want to talk through conditions you may want to include in your offer with your agent. Things such as an inspection. If a home is older, it's something you may want to include. While conventional wisdom would say that you want to have a home inspection because it's the right thing to do and it feels good. If the home is generally on the newer end, other competitors, other buyers may see that the home inspection condition is a deterrent to getting an offer accepted. And so really just weigh out whether a home inspection is truly needed in order to proceed, or whether it can be done later on your own time after you potentially own the home. So that's something to consider around the age and the condition of the home today. Another condition would be whether you are getting mortgage financing, whether you want to keep that as a condition to be able to buy the home. You may be in a position where you know you're going to get a mortgage and it's pretty clear between you and your lender, and that's a great spot to be. But if you feel like there's some weakness in that department, it may be a condition that you absolutely want to include. And then lastly, it's an appraisal condition, which is part of the financing condition, but can be broken out. And it basically tells the seller that you want to make sure that the home appraises based on your lender's appraisal of the home, if you're going to use a mortgage again, or not. And so these are some of the tools you have at your fingertips to become a more aggressive buyer or a less aggressive buyer. And so typically when a seller says they would love a clean offer, it means that there are no conditions or there's very little conditions. So really the combination of price and conditions is what make up a lot of the offer. Now lastly, your agent is going to want to try to identify anything that a seller may want as terms. And this is just for you to understand what a seller would love to see. And if you have an ability to get as close as you can comfortably to that, perhaps there's a meeting of the minds. And so knowing this knowledge, maybe it's closing date as to when they want to sell ultimately and actually move out. Maybe it's that there's some furniture that they want to leave behind, they don't want to deal with it, and you're okay with dealing with it. Effectively, these are some terms that a seller may be able to outline for your buyer's agent or for you. And if you feel like you can get as close as possible to those seller terms, it might just make for a successful accepted offer. Lastly, you will end up including a couple of disclosures that you sign as part of this offer. There are sometimes things like a seller's disclosure, which describes, their version of what they believe the condition of the home is. There could be a lead paint form, which basically describes the amount of lead paint that could be known about or not known about in the home. And so these are disclosures that your buyer's agent will facilitate your signing of and review of. But just know that sort of to complete this package, you're going to need to put together these aspects into an offer. Your pre-approval, you're going to need to understand seller terms if there are any, sign any disclosures, and then there is going to be a picture of what's known as a offer deposit check. And this is usually somewhere between $1,000 to $10,000 depending on the value of the home and how aggressive you want to be with that. And so these are a few things. Typically when you make an offer, it should be valid for about 24 hours if you can. Sometimes it's 48 hours if the seller is abroad and the seller agent requests for the additional time for review. But just want to put that out there and make sure you kind of understand what you're getting into when you make an offer. These are the expectations.